Want to speak real Korean from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at KoreanClass101.com.
Hi everyone! Welcome to the Ultimate Korean Pronunciation Guide. In this series, you'll master Korean pronunciation. Proper pronunciation is essential in Korean, and in this series, you'll learn it in a fast, comprehensive, and easy way. In this first lesson, you'll learn 2 key points for mastering Korean pronunciation. The first key point is to master the pronunciation of 24 basic Korean letters. The Korean alphabet has 14 basic consonants and 10 basic vowels. 1 letter represents each of these sounds. These are then written out in blocks to form each syllable. Here's a sample character. This block has 2 letters, one on top and one at the bottom. The letter on top is the consonant N. Below it is the vowel U. Combined, you read the block NU. Listen to the native Korean speaker.
네, 우, 누.
You can add another letter to the bottom of this block. Compare the top and bottom letters. Can you read the block? The bottom letter is the N sound, just like the top letter. Combining these with the vowel in the middle, you pronounce the whole block nun, which means I in Korean. You will see many different block arrangements in Korean, but once you master the pronunciation of the 24 basic letters, you can read any of these blocks in Korean. The second key point is, each syllable in Korean is pronounced for the same length of time with equal stress. For example, when you say camera in English, you put stress on ka and say it for longer than the other syllables of the word. Camera. But in Korean, each syllable is pronounced for the same amount of time and gets equal stress. Listen to the word camera in Korean.
카메라,
This principle applies throughout the entire sentence, not just for individual words. Listen to the Korean sentence.
이것은 카메라입니다.
Now to close this lesson, here's a question for you. Why should you, including advanced speakers, spend time on learning proper pronunciation? The answer? You will be understood, and this will help you build more confidence as you communicate in Korean. For beginners, you're on the path to learning proper pronunciation. And for more advanced students, this is a chance to finally master Korean pronunciation. In this lesson, you'll learn the top 5 Korean pronunciation mistakes to avoid. Number 1. Using the same pitch for the last syllable in a sentence. When speaking Korean, make sure to lower the pitch of the last syllable in the sentence. Listen to an example.
고마워.
She kept the same pitch for the first and second syllable, but lowered the tone for the last syllable. Listen to another example.
사랑해요. 사랑해요.
Number 2. Pronouncing imported words with a foreign accent. Listen to a word that is commonly used in Korean.
컴퓨터,
Can you guess what it means? It's the word for computer. It sounds similar to its English counterpart, but there are important differences. If you pronounced it like you would in English, you would be hard to understand. Listen to 2 other examples.
오렌지, 하트.
The difference in pronunciation may sound small to you, but unless you say them with a native Korean accent, Koreans won't understand what you mean. Number 3. Overstressing syllables when speaking Korean. Try saying this English sentence out loud. I like bulgogi. Pay attention to the stresses. If you pronounce sentences like this in Korean, it will sound very unnatural. Listen to the native speaker say this sentence in Korean.
불고기가 좋아요.
Native speakers do not place stress on any particular syllable. Try saying the sentence without stressing syllables.
불고기가 좋아요.
Number 4. Using an R sound. This letter is often represented as an R or an L, but you do not pronounce it this way. In fact, there is no equivalent sound in English for it. Listen to a word that uses this letter.
사랑, 사랑,
It sounds closer to an L than an R in English. Listen again carefully.
사랑, 사랑.
We'll learn more about this in Lesson 6, so don't worry about it too much. Number 5. Reading 받침 as they are written. When reading blocks of Korean letters, you'll often find one written at the bottom of a block, like this one. This position is called 받침, and letters in this position sometimes follow different pronunciation rules. Usually, a letter's pronunciation remains constant. When it is in the 받침 position, however, it sometimes changes. In this case, the letter, which is usually an S sound, becomes a T sound. Listen to the native speaker pronounce the letter in 2 different blocks. In the second one, she will pronounce it in the 받침 position.
사, 삭,
This principle applies to all consonants, except for a special group of nasal ones. Whenever these consonants are placed in the 받침 position, you will need to pronounce them differently. Here's another example. This letter usually makes an H sound. In the 받침 position, you need to read it as T. Listen to the native speaker. In this block, the letter appears both in the top and in the 받침 position.
핫, 핫.
So far, we've introduced you to the basics and covered the top 5 mistakes Korean learners make and how to avoid them. In this lesson, you'll learn how to pronounce Korean vowels correctly. Do you remember there are 10 basic vowels in Korean? In this lesson, you're going to learn 7 vowels that sound similar to vowels in English. Here's the first vowel.
아,
Open your mouth wide as if you were at the dentist and relax your tongue. Then try to say ah.
아, 아. 아, 아.
The next vowel is
오,
think of the O sound in orange. Round the lips as if you're surprised.
오, 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 오.
And the next vowel is
우,
purse your lips as though you are about to whistle or blow up a balloon, or say ooh as in blue.
우, 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 우.
The lips are more relaxed for the Korean ooh sound than the English ooh. Compare the Korean ooh with the English ooh.
우,
Ooh. The next vowel is
이,
open your mouth as if you were trying to show your teeth and say the letter E. Say it like the E in meat, but shorter.
이, 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 이.
Now, review the 4 vowels that we've just learned so far. Repeat each vowel after hearing the pronunciation from our native speaker.
아, 아. 오, 오, 우, 우. 이, 이.
Okay, now let's move on. The next 3 vowels you will learn look like this. These 3 vowels look very similar to the ones that you just learned. The only difference is that they each have an extra stroke attached to them. Listen to how the pronunciation of the vowels change when the small stroke is added.
A. Ya.
This small stroke adds a Y sound to the beginning of the original sound. Compare the pronunciation of these two letters once again.
A. Ya.
When you say this letter, don't pronounce the Y sound for too long. Listen to the pronunciation again.
Ya. 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 Ya.
The next vowel is.
You.
Take the original oo sound and add a Y to make you. Together, they sound almost the same as you in English, but with a shorter Y.
You. 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 You.
And the next vowel is.
Yo.
Again, add a short Y sound to the O. Listen to the pronunciation again.
Yo. 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 Yo.
Now, review the 3 basic vowels that have Y at the beginning. Repeat each vowel after hearing the pronunciation from our native speaker.
Ya. Ya. You. You. Yo. Yo.
Make sure you master these sounds because you'll need these vowels to properly speak in Korean. Was seeing the pronunciation illustrations helpful? Please comment and share your thoughts. We'll learn the rest of the vowels which have no English equivalent in our next lesson. See you in the next Ultimate Korean Pronunciation Guide lesson.